you're involved in the newest production, which we want to dedicate most of the second half of the show to. But how did you get into independent acting and acting in general originally?
When I was 8 years old, I took my first acting lesson with my manager, Bethany Constance. And because I did gymnastics at the time, I couldn't continue with that. And so I stopped doing acting for a while, and I started up my gymnastics because I had lost school and that. And then when I stopped doing gymnastics, I was probably around for a year, didn't know what I wanted to do, and my mom asked me if I'd like to pick anything up again. So I re-picked up acting, and then I guess after that I just kind of became an actor and got in multiple films and things, and I met Bryan through I think I met you through Tom DiNucci, I believe, or yeah, by Tom DiNucci. And so I met Bryan through him, and I did a few films with Tom, and then I met Bryan.
Well, you realize that you could have combined the gymnastics and the acting early on and just done kung fu movies.
Yeah, or gymnastics-themed horror movies.
There you go.
Like the next Bruce Lee, you know.
Well, yeah, Kung Fu Killers meet the undead Aztec mummies. I mean, something like that.
How about you, Maureen?
Actually, I modeled probably 20, 30 pounds ago. And then, and so then I started, to work in the my husband's general contracting business. And then everything was running smoothly there, so I went back out, got an agent for modeling again, and then it just sort of moved into the acting. And so for about 5 years now, I started off background acting, taking a bunch of classes and courses, and then became a legitimate actor.
We see it a lot in music, and I'm noticing a lot in filmmaking, and maybe you guys could all weigh in on this. It really is, if you're looking to stay busy, all about networking. I mean, from what I could tell, you guys met through Tommy and all that. Is there a place where folks come together for independent film?
Yeah, there are a lot of different clubs, different groups, such as Hollywood East, New England Film, the Rhode Island Film Collaborative. They oftentimes have events where people can get together and mingle. There are film screenings locally all over the state and all over Massachusetts. So that's where most people end up meeting each other. But a lot of it's also on Facebook and other social media.
It's interesting to see the similarities between kind of everything across the entertainment spectrum right now in the New England area, where folks are going out and networking, and they're getting hooked up with local musicians. They're getting hooked with filmmakers, actors and actresses, and it seems to be kind of this fluid thing that you really haven't seen in years past.
Yeah, I've been in the local film scene for about 10 years, and when it first started, it was very scattered, very few people around. But I've noticed it's really grown quite a bit, and there are not only more filmmakers, but more people reaching out to different genres, and they're doing better work more often. So I think definitely in the next 5 years or so, I think we could get to the next level with a lot of filmmakers, more people getting distribution deals and so forth.
When it comes to when you decide on a project and it comes time to locate a cast, do you generally look for the actors you want? Do you generally do the looking, or do you just kind of say, hey, I got a new project going, and see what crawls in the door and comes to you?
Actually, it changes from project to project. Sometimes I'll do a formal casting call, and sometimes I'll just reach out to actors I've worked with before that I have a good relationship with, and that's usually how it comes together.
Yeah.
Or
that seems to be the smarter way,
right? Or I will just go ahead and pick someone to be my lead, and then I'll have everybody audition against that lead.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go back down to some local music, and it is all combined, because it's great to go to a local show and see other local bands in the audience. And the past few film events that I've gone to, there have been other local filmmakers in the audience going to see the first Filmmaker's newest project. So we got to keep that going here in Little Rhodey, but I digress. We're going to go down to some Colorblind now. Clouded Dream, the name of this one, right here on The Tony Jones Show.
chance to say that you are gone, but never for too long. In my dreams you'll always stay, taking my heart. Taking my heart away. So long, farewell, don't you always do. Have my heart, you kept it on you, on you. So long, farewell, don't you always do. Had my heart, you kept it on you. Nights seem endless now. Time is a fragile framework to be messed with. The hands running past the numbers to the same old circle. Same old circle. So long, farewell, don't you always do. Have my heart, you kept it on you, on you. So long, farewell, don't you always do. Had my heart, you kept it on you. Hidden from the upcoming presents, memories and time will fade as time goes on. You feel how it is to be loved again as time goes on. In the same so long, farewell.
Some Colorblind right here on the Tony Jones Show. Clouded Dream, the name of that one. Great local band, great young, enthusiastic local band. Colorblind is who you've just heard from. You were tuned into the Tony Jones Show online at tonyjones.org. It's facebook.com/Tony Jones Show, on the almighty Twitter at Tony Jones in RI. George Garner joins me behind the co-host microphone this week. George, good evening.
Good evening.
Comic-Con coming up this weekend. Will you be joining us or you'll be working?
No, as I just pointed out under the music to a couple of our guests, I will be at Comic-Con. It does, put it this way, I have quit jobs over things less than Comic-Con. So,
especially considering, and I don't mean this is an insult, especially considering the prevailing wage in the industry in which you live, and what you work.
Well, if what you're trying to describe is the third shift security job, with which I pay the bills while I'm doing things like internet radio and being in the band with you and a bunch of other things that don't pay crap, remembering the FCC. Yes, actually, third shift security is not the worst thing to be in, despite the prevailing wage. I mean, where else could I work in an apartment house inhabited by low-income, mentally deranged people that walk around with their hair tousled, glazed eyes, hissing?
And you're supposed to be the voice of, as the security guard, you're supposed to be the voice of reason.
Yes, and the scary thing is that in that place I am the voice of reason by comparison. But be grateful, because that third shift job is the origin of most of my blogs.
And incidentally, if you go to rifreeradio.org, George Garner has a new blog regarding his first shift aspirations, which you can find out. It's called The Sorting Room.
Yes, that was my bid to try to become a normal...
To become legitimate.
That's the word. Never normal, but yes, legitimate. Yes, I did try to work a daytime job. It lasted about 2 months. And it was no less scary, horrifying, and dirty than the third shift job. So I just went back to the third shift because it's my natural element. But it's getting back to the filmmaking here.
Right.
Yeah. The question I want to ask is, did you ever make the hellish mistake on some of your first projects of asking friends and family to help you?
I think I made all the mistakes on short films.
And you're still making films, and you're still here to tell us about it. So obviously, you're a man of strong convictions.
Stubbornness. That's part of it. You have to be very stubborn. You have to be willing to just keep doing it, no matter how many times you get knocked down or you're frustrated. Because this is the type of business that can do it very quickly.
Right, but you survived working with friends and family at an early point. Is what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, then that puts you ahead of several of the filmmakers I've spoken to lately, who are no longer filmmakers. They're joining me on the third shift.
Yeah, but Brian doesn't have any friends anymore or family.
Well, that's
No. Yeah, they all left.
well, that goes with the territory. I mean, that means Brian's doing something right. If you have the less friends and family you have lurking around, you're doing something right. Really, I mean, yeah, because since well, by the way, I'm once again a published author. Did we mention that? Okay, we should. But my point is that if you dedicate yourself to a creative endeavor, it doesn't matter whether it's filmmaking, writing, music. If you do it, if you're doing it right, that's one of the marks of you're doing it right, is that your friends and family don't want much to do with you anymore because you're spending way too much time on it, which is what you're supposed to be damn doing.
I would agree with that to an extent. But yeah, I think your circle gets a little bit smaller as you slowly weed out people who aren't as serious about it and people who are just doing it just for fun, and then you see the people who really want to do this, and they're the ones that keep it going. They're willing to sacrifice and they pay their dues and keep working hard at it. It's definitely not. If you're expecting something easy, this is not the career to get into. If you're doing it just for the money, you'll probably give up long before you'll
be on the third
paid.
shift with George.
Yeah. And even by myself, I'm just now learning the producing end of the business, and coming up with budget money is very difficult. I think with our next production, we're going to try for the first time using product placement, and hopefully that's going to go well. And we're also probably going to be we're going to go more professional with using a lot of SAG actors. The last two films we did were SAG signatories, so I think it's important to keep moving up, even if it's slow progress, to keep moving forward.
As long as there's forward progress.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with technology, I've been on the opposite side of these, but I haven't been involved in one in a while. What does a cattle call, as it's called, or an open casting call look like these days with technology? Because you can reach far and wide, and you can have people coming from out of the woodworks to an open casting call.
It can depend. Usually, there's certain filmmakers I try not to cross my events with theirs. Because they're very popular, and you'll cut down your number of people coming. It really depends on how often I'm promoting the casting call. Right. And I find weekend ones work better than during the week. I've had people come from all the way from Pennsylvania to Maine to these casting calls.
Yeah, especially in New England. I mean, people do travel from state to state for casting calls. Especially, there's a certain group of people that are committed to horror on both sides, and they travel all around for horror casting calls.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go, this is just a perfect segue, and I didn't even mean to do it purposely. We're going to go down to some music now. We're going to hear two from my old pals, the Misfits, both off of Project 1950. Here's Diana right here on The Tony Jones Show.
Cause forever